Chris, so good to see you. Today, we are going to talk about why 60% of wealth transfers fail and the conversation that every family should be having this holiday season. The holidays, of course, bring families together, multiple generations under one roof, which is why it's also a great time to talk about family finances and the legacy you want to leave behind. So take a look at this. 60% of wealth transfers fall apart because of a lack of communication and trust. Why is it so hard for families to have these conversations?
It's something about, money and, the parents have created a lot of wealth and they don't want to tell anybody about it. They're worried about the kids that, well, maybe they'll try to steal their money, so to speak, and that's often not the case. A lot of times the kids want to help and,
Of course.
and sometimes it's grandkids and everything, but it's the family dynamic. And I'll give you some personal examples as we go through here today.
Right. No, absolutely, Chris. I'm so glad that you and I have time to talk about it today. So make the case. Why are the holidays probably the best time to have this conversation?
Well, everybody's getting together typically into what are, positive circumstances, the
Yeah.
exchange of gifts, good food, some alcohol in there probably. So you might want to have these conversations before the alcohol starts flowing, but everybody's together and you can say, look, hey, here's what we've done. We've updated some documents and we have different assets. We put together a sheet here of account numbers, and maybe it doesn't have your balances on there, and say, keep this in the safety that we keep a copy in our safety deposit box. And depending on the relationship you have with your kids or grandkids or whomever it is, how much information you want to divulge to them, ahead of your going into a nursing home or passing away, as an example.
Right. Do it before it comes to that stressful point in time. So you touched on this a second ago, but what information should parents or grandparents share with their adult children?
Yeah, I would have them share who they decided to have in charge of powers of attorney. Often
Yeah.
they don't do that. And there's a power of attorney for healthcare and a power of attorney for finance. So in our family, my brother lives with my dad, and my mom's in a nursing home right now. So my brother is the primary power of attorney for healthcare. And given the industry that I'm in, I'm the power of attorney for finances.
Right.
And, we're primary and secondary. And, we don't have an argument or anything over that. We both know where each other's strengths and weaknesses lie.
Yeah.
So, we don't have that. It takes away. And we were part of that discussion. In fact, I leave here today after this recording and sign those updated documents. My parents did their original powers of attorney probably 20 years ago, and we're just updating them to make them active right now.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the most important legal documents every family should be reviewing together?
Yeah, so investment statements and things like that are also important for our previous segment. Where the kids need to find out where your overall estate plan is, like you have on the screen here for us, Erin, and the different documents of investment pieces and statements, and where to find those birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce certificates. Because we have a lot of mixed marriages that are out there, and that's why you want to have these conversations ahead of a crisis. So people right here, I'm telling you firsthand, this is where you want to be proactive, not
Yes.
reactive,
Yes.
and eliminate those arguments.
Right. And so clearly, Chris, you have a lot of professional and personal experience with this. So do you have any tips for families about how to keep these talks positive instead of uncomfortable?
For our clients, a lot of times we're involved. The family comes in together and
Yeah.
we're sitting around the conference room together. So sometimes, we're wearing the Lucy 5 cents hat, and we have to, kind of be an arbitrator, which is nice, because, you can deflect. It doesn't have to be good cop, bad cop or anything like that. There can be arguments as, if you put $500,000 on the dining room table, your kids might not argue about it, but their spouses may want to start an argument. So, it is nice to have these conversations, in the best of times, not in the worst of times, would be
Yes.
my point, Erin.
Yes. And having a professional in the room can help lower the temperature too. Chris, this was, again, really valuable, especially ahead of the holidays. If somebody would like your help, either being in the room, getting the ball rolling, what's the best way to reach you?
Yep. And I would call Heidi at the office, who's dealing with a lot of the same things
Yeah.
I'm dealing with, aging parents, and call Heidi at 419-332-0532. Can also go to McIntire Retirement Services.com. You can spell that about any way and it'll come to, come to us. We bought all the sites, we thought.
Great. All right. Well, Chris, again, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Erin. Thank you.
Tune into Chris McIntire's full radio program and visit McIntireRetirementServices.com for many additional valuable resources, including other great episodes of Game Plan for Retirement with Chris McIntire. Be sure to subscribe.